Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, good morning from Jarama, Spain. What a beautiful country. Lucky you that you live there, if you live there, if you watch from there. Marco from Monza, ciao, welcome back. A new set of cameras, computers. I will not, let's say much more on the new Mac Studio that has arrived. I hope it will be quite a nice addition. Maybe will allow me to also stream finally sooner or later, but mainly welcome back on iKeysRacing. Sorry for the long pause between the last video and this one, but I had to set up everything new to possibly give more and more contents more frequently, and as said also live, not only on iKeysRacing but also on iKeysGamer that I forgot for more than 1 year, but I will try to manage myself between two different set of channels for two different set of proposals. But anyway, happy to be back with a new set of cameras and a new computer running what is OBS to record and hopefully very soon also to live stream something. Today we are at the Jarama venue for the round number 2 of the WTCC 1987 iKeysRacing edition, despite using all the original tracks. Hopefully I will find all of them. I've not checked if I can do it or not. But the mod found on Race Department, and not only, will allow us to race the beautiful inaugural season of Grand Tourers, the first ever world title for this type of racing. We will face a 30 minutes quick race on this track, trying one single shot to qualify the car, and then hopefully everything else will be in a good place. We are watching now what is a Toyota Supra, followed by a Volvo 240 Turbo back then. But let's go to find out if there's something else. For example, this Ford Mustang, muscle car from America, from US. The venue, the Jarama circuit, is absolutely stunning from many points of view. This is not the 87 version, but it is a more recent one, but it's the one I have found working with my computer and with Power and Glory. And so that will be the proposal for today. So while many cars are running in front of our eyes, we will go to see the cars selection for this appointment from 30 to 36 slots after the Monza race. And because in the Monza race there was the domination of the Ford Sierra, I have kept for one more appointment the presence of the 3 Ford Sierras of the Eggenberger race team and of the Andy Rouse equipe, but they will face a more fierce battle, more tough battle with BMWs, with Volvos, with a lot of cars that you will see in a minute. Especially the BMW equipe will bring 2 or 3 more Series 3 M30 model, so will be quite challenging for Ford win today. As said, with the balance of presence more than the balance of performance, if Ford will dominate also today, from the appointment number 3, we will rebalance how many Fords will race this championship to keep things in a great battle until the end of the season. So, race number 2, and so we will go in a couple of seconds to see the cars selection for today. We will race a Maserati biturbo, originally sold from the year 1981, maybe, if I'm not wrong. Will be a difficult car to qualify, to drive, and to make last until the end of the race, because I initially was absolutely a mess to race this model, and then race after race has been improved, but never reaching a competitive figure. Today we will try to do something good, and the choice, as you have seen, is already present in the cover of the game. So that being said, let's go to see car selections, then we will go to warm up tires, we will have then a single shot qualifying lap, and then we will race for 30 minutes without stopping for fuel. Here we are for the cars selection. I will start today with the D3 division, D1 and then D2. D3 and D2 are the most full or fulfilled with cars. We start with the Toyota Supra of the Bastos Toyota team. A real monster coming from Japan, obviously, with an almost 3 liters turbocharged engine capable of 370 horsepower. At the top RPM we will see the number 14 and the number 15. Very similar from a paint scheme point of view, so it will be not so easy to recognize them, but let's hope to keep them at our back. Rover SDI will bring what was the demise of the Tom Walkinshaw racing team, all conquering, all winning equipe that in 86, 85 and 84 won the European Touring Car Championship, then withdrew for the 87 season to avoid a silly, stupid entry fee mandatory by Bernie Ecclestone. So we will have what was left from the Rover ground with a private entry sponsored by Triplex and Esso, and a Visit Turkey Zeus Computer Racing equipe. The car was absolutely a monster, with a Rover V8 3.5 liters naturally aspirated, capable of 340 horsepower. Talking about monsters, we cannot forget the Holden Commodore VL. 4 cars we will see. The first one will be anyway within the HDT racing team that we will see very soon. At the wheel we have just Australian drivers, professional drivers, like Peter Brook, Neville Crackton and David Pearson, with the sponsorship from Mobil, a car seen very often at the Bathurst venue. Number 3. Number 5 with Alan Moffat organization, seen also at Le Mans with another car, Porsche. Here with the HDT Racing, with the original winner of the Monza kickoff season of 87. We will see also the number 10 sponsored by Herbie Clips. To finish then with a Formula 1 investment, nothing related to Formula 1, just the name of the society, with 2 Belgians and 1 Australian. The Belgians are Alex Guillot and Michel Delcourt, with the Australian Graham Moore at the wheel. Talking about the characteristics of this beautiful Australian car, we have a V8 Holden engine of almost 5 liters, giving more than 400 horsepower, with not a fuel injection system electrically managed like was starting to appear with saloon cars, and not only, and with a system of quad carburetors, such an old technology back then, but very effective. Ford Mustang, an American muscle car, will bring the Sickel Motorsport equipe at the wheel, obviously, Mr. Sickel, together with Schurg and the Italian Daschia. The car itself was very powerful, having a Roush Ford V8 of 5 liters with around 350 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. Again, a car without the fuel injection or the 4 valves per cylinder, but just with 2 Hollis carburetors. We come back in Europe with CBM Sport Italian equipe will bring 2 BMW's 635 CSI, nothing related to Orazio Kane in Miami. The CSI model will be present without sponsorship, and this almost fake number 18, and the most famous lease plan sponsored number 19. The car itself was a 3.5 almost cubic centimeters with a power output of 335 HP, naturally aspirated obviously, but at least already with the fuel injection, and the letter I of the CSI stands for this particular technology that was almost new in the mid-80s. The last D3 car will be with 2 private entries, with an Alfa Romeo GTV, with a PYE sponsorship, audio equipment, and an Ignis Frigis iconic yellow and black paint scheme. The car itself was powered by a V6 Alfa Romeo engine naturally aspirated of 2.5 liters, already with electronic fuel injection. Not very competitive, but deserving to be here. This the D3 category for what was the division number 3 for cars over 2.5 liters. The only one D1 car, so below 1.5 liters, will be the FINA Racing Team Toyota Corolla Coupé, like is correct to be said in French, with 2 identical paint scheme, the number 103 and the number 104. The car itself was a tiny 1.5 liters equipped engine, but at least, as always happens with Japanese car, very advanced mechanically with 4 valves per cylinder, not very common back then, around 150 horsepower with electronic fuel injection and no turbocharging systems. We will drive this car in the most shaky and cornered track available for this season. So we can go back to what was the division number 2 with Volvo, that will bring the model 240T. T stands for turbo, a private entry sponsored Svekar saloon chain, a Nordica very famous sponsored one, another private entry with a Atlas Copco tiny sponsorship, to finish with an expert in Italy is famous as an electronic appliances chain. I don't know in your country. The car itself was a 2.1 petrol engine with this cubic centimeters capacity, 340 horsepower, provided by a big Garrett turbo water injection turbine, and with a car that maybe paid just a bit of overweight during the season. We will have another Japanese gem, the Nissan Skyline DR30 of the Peter Jackson Nissan Racing, with number 15 and number 30, identical paint scheme more or less, for what I see, for what I get. The history says that it was a 4-cylinder inline 2 liters with a big Garrett turbine powering the car with 340 horsepower. Mercedes did bring again the 190 model of the Écurie Motul Nogaro French equipe. The German Marco AMG was a Louis magazine, if I'm not wrong, sponsorship, and Luke that has become then Luke Oil. I don't remember. I'm sorry for my bad random access memory, but I'm getting old. The car was a 4 cylinders inline with a capacity of 2.3 liters, 4 valves per cylinder, very advanced for the time of the mid-80s, 260 horsepower, because anyway it was not a turbo car but just a naturally aspirated one, with anyway a Bosch fuel injection system. Staying in Germany, we will bring 5 BMW E30 M3 version, Schnitzer, BMW Motorsport, CBM, Bigazzi, and another Schnitzer Motorsport. Let's go to see the first one. Number 40, number 41, 42 sponsored by Rudy Project. Don't ask me what is Rudy Project. A 43 Marlboro sponsored, resembling very easily the McLaren Formula 1 car of those days. And a 46 version. You can recognize blue details here in the front of the car, also a blue stripe here, and this is the 46. The number 40 will be red here with the stripe and here with the front lights. The 41 will be green, you can see here, you can see here, and then looking the Rudy Project, we can load details for a 4-cylinder inline naturally aspirated engine, 2.3 liters, with a Bosch Motronic EMS injection, powering the car with 300 best horsepower for a weight under 1000 kilograms. We leave Germany to come to US, UK based, Germany based Ford Sierra that dominated the previous Monza appointment, and was also a dominating car that season. The Eggenberger Motorsport has the number 6, the number 7, and the privateer Andy Rouse Engineering had the number 8. Equal cars, all powered by a 4 inline front-mounted engine, 2 liters capacity, 4 valves per cylinder, turbocharged with a big Garrett turbine for 370 horsepower and a weight around 1000 kilograms. We finish coming back in Italy. Last appointment we did drive an Alfa Romeo Alfa 75. We will see again the official Alfa Romeo number 75 with Jacques Lafitte and Alessandro Nannini, if I'm not wrong, at the wheel. A number 76 still with the official Alfa Corse Keep. A 78 teammate of our 77 raced at Monza with Army Beretta Guns sponsorship, even if they were declared as Guns and Army in general for sport. And then the 79 with the great Alfa Romeo test driver Giorgio Francia. Coming back to the Lafitte version, she had a 4 cylinders inline 1.7 liters turbocharged, both with a Garrett turbine and a Bosch electronical fuel injection, around 1000 kilograms of weight for 280 horsepower. An initial development not powerful enough to win against everybody like we would have seen then in the years around the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, but was a great car, fun to drive, with a good handling indeed. We come then and stay in Italy for this Maserati biturbo number 1 of the Pro Team Italia Imberti D2 division with Bruno Giacomelli or Jack O'Malley at the wheel, and it was the car I wanted to show you today and to race together with you, because back in the mid-80s Maserati was at least within turbulences, with sometimes old models available, sometimes not really fresh technology available to conquer a world championship. But at least the Maserati biturbo was a model, maybe commercially I would almost suppose the most successful one from a number of units produced, considering that was anyway an executive grand tourer produced for 13 years from 81 to 94, with some obviously facelifts and redesigns of details and particulars. The car itself was a 2-door 4-seater notchback coupe. In some way was smaller than a BMW Series 3 of the time, and like the name implies, it featured a V6 engine with 2 big turbines, initially with 2 Weber carburetors, and lately in the season finally arrived the electronic fuel injection. Designed by Pierangelo Andreani, the chief of Centro Stile Maserati up to 1981, it was in some way influenced by the previous design of the Quattroporte Mark III, did by Ital Design of Mr. Giugiaro. From a racing point of view, was not really successful, was just maybe an experiment to keep the name Maserati within motorsport, but this car has some records. First of all, was the first car to use a twin turbocharged engine. It was also the first production car with 3 valves per cylinders, 2 for the load of the mixture, air and fuel, 1 for the exhaust system. Was later upgraded to 4 valves per cylinders, like you have seen Japanese and German cars were more or less already there. The V6 was a 90 degrees aluminum technical choice and was basically, despite some redesigns etc., based on the V6 engine used in the model Merak, that itself was based on an earlier Formula 1 Maserati V8 engine designed by Giulio Alfieri. So we are talking about an engine technology coming from the 50s, 60s. So really something, if not outdated, more or less, we were there. And to have a comparison, consider that the fuel injection was fitted in 1987, raising the road version power output to 187 horsepower, more or less half of what we are going to use today for the race at Jarama. It was sold also in North America, considering that in Italy especially we had a sort of overtax for cars over 2 liters engine capacity, and this car overall had the possibility to year by year having different choices of engines from 2 liters to 2.8 liters, and the segmentation was 2 liters, 2.5 and 2.8, but as soon as the 24 valves, 4 valves per cylinders, arrived on the market, capacity were just 2 liters or 2.8. For the period was not a bad car, maybe a bit ahead of its time for, let's say, a choice of a normal body shape like a Grand Tourer, but full of luxury choices internally and not only, and with a high power engine available. Consider that the top performances of this model as a road car were maximum speed of 256 km per hour, 0 to 100 km or 62 miles per hour under 6 seconds, and 1 km, 1000 meters, was reached after 25.6 seconds. Obviously, something that nowadays almost a B-segment powered enough car can achieve, but in the mid of the 80s was absolutely not something common for a luxury car like this, because mainly the car was supposed to be a luxury version like nowadays we consider normal with Audi A4, BMW 3 or 5 Series, Alfa Romeo Giulia and so on. At the end, the car sold 40,000 units, and we have also to consider that in this period the Maserati brand company was under the ownership of Alejandro De Tomaso, the Argentinian driver and car manufacturer genius, that owned also Innocenti brand, that was the company in charge to produce body panels and to provide the final assembly. So was already something, let's say, in the nowhere land, was not anymore an all original Maserati concept. After the start of the falling of sales at the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s, at the end Alejandro De Tomaso sold the Maserati brand to Fiat, what we know today as Stellantis, previously FCA, Ferrari Chrysler Automotive, and nowadays you know maybe the Maserati brand thanks to the fact that Ferrari and Stellantis, Fiat, etc. is keeping alive the name, the beautiful name, historic name of Maserati. The car competed, as said, in the World Touring Car Championship 87, the following year in the European Touring Car Championship, with a Marlboro Conquista team, without, honestly, any notable success. And until the carburetors were replaced with the fuel injection system, they also had serious overheating problems. Then the WTCC cars were raced in the Italian Touring Car Championship for the next couple of years, and also one car was rallied in a Group A specs. So we can say that the car had a pedigree, a motorsport racing pedigree, but honestly didn't achieve much success. So today, considering that we will race in the D2 category, we will have to try to bring this car at the end of the race without reliability problem. Hopefully it will be just a 30 minutes appointment, so shouldn't be an issue, but at least I would like to be in front of the D3 and D1 cars at least, and maybe figure out how to beat I would say the Volvos, the Nissan Skylines, the Mercedes, but maybe not the Alfa 75, the BMWs and the Ford Sierras. The circuit will be the Jarama venue, so we can continue. The realism will be all in real time, from a daylight acceleration, tire wear, fuel usage, mechanical failure and so on. We will run just qualification, hopefully without then destroying the starting field. 35 opponents will be a rolling start, and for 30 minutes we will try to race like hell. So let's go on track. So here we are with the first qualifying section gone. Cars raced between 144.8 down to 48.8, so 4 seconds from the quickest to the slowest. I tried already with the Pro Team Italia and Berti to run the car at least to understand if it is all in place. Obviously I didn't score a decent lap time. There are the two FINA Racing Toyota Corolla not running and the Peter Jackson second Nissan Skyline not running, maybe for pit group needs or whatever regarding the track. But anyway, we have 36 slots available and 36 cars should start the race. At the top, sometimes is needless to be said, the Eggenberger Motorsport with the Ford Sierra RS500 top 3 absolutely dominating by more than half a second to the next model that will be a Mercedes 190, a BMW, another Mercedes, Volvo and so on mixed. Alfa Romeos as usual are a bit far as we have seen in Monza, so will be a matter to possibly score a good lap time to qualify our Maserati biturbo, or maybe be just dead last. We will discover it into qualifying 2. I will show you the garage for the setup that will take in consideration 15 liters for this tentative of 5 laps, just one really available for what is the qualification session. Steering lock 27 degrees, the caster up to 5. After some tries etc, it's at the maximum and seems okay and decently balanced for high speed corners, a bit less for what is cornering into hairpins etc. So I think that 3.5 degrees will be enough also for the qualification. The anti-roll bar is not the maximum, just 70 Newton per millimeters. Toe in not more 0.50 degrees, anti-roll bar at the back no lower than 5 Newton per millimeters. The toe in can be around 0 and 40. So far I've seen that the 0.20 degrees is okay. Gears are more or less oriented to reach 250 top speed. You can't control the cost and power activity or the preload of the differential, so the Maserati comes out from the saloon as it was. From a suspension point of view, I'm not using the hardest setup for the front, and it's maybe a decent choice also from a spring point of view. This is the final figure, more or less. Tires are working as they should. Not a really competitive car as said, so we will try to do our best, but the first thing we must do is accelerate a bit the time, see if anybody will improve, yes or no, and then the rest will be up to me to race as quick as I can. But really a tough job starting from what I've seen is the performance of the Maserati. It is not a totally bad car from a handling point of view, maybe similar to the Alfa Romeo as we have seen at Monza, but it's a heavier car than many other models. It's a front engine real axle driving technical setup, not really maybe the best given how old the car is, and so with 20 minutes to go I hope to do my best, but believe me, will be quite a different type of race today for sure. So welcome on board. The car has also the fake wood, or well, in the mid-80s maybe was a real wood. Sorry for keeping the virtual rear mirror and not using, as I've used to do so far, the real mirrors, but this gives me a bit of flexibility for showing you what is the rest happening around. The car is this one. I hope it is decently visible, very squared, very 80s style. And so see you in a second for the qualification lap. Okay, last corner, the first lap will be driven just calmly, if I can say so. The car has a tendency to be very understeering. We let pass all the drivers involved into a qualification lap. The next one will be our. So main straight, you will see appear the names of the corners while I warm up brakes and tires. As said, very understeering, and has the tendency to roll a lot, longitudinally and latitudinally, if I can say so. So not really a race car, let's say, ahead of its time, even maybe a bit old compared to many other models like the BMW M3, the Alpha 75, the Ford Sierra, or even the Rover SDI that was the previous winning car in the European Touring Car Championship. But anyway, we are closing the approach to the end of the warm-up lap, and then I will try a single shot or a second tentative, just in case I will screw like this the first tentative. Let's try to follow a Ford Sierra that is very competitive, and this one is Steve Soper and Philip Strife, so something to be proud to be even in their shades. Understeering, okay, no aerodynamics usable here, just raw power and the handling offered by the saloon car as it was designed at the beginning of the 80s. I must also pay attention to when I insert lower gears, because the car has the tendency to spin while braking. And then be understeering when pushed to the limit. Despite having the same type of physics of a BMW M3, for example, front engine mounted, real drive axle in reality is not a car with a good handling, very heavy. .7, I would say last. Did many mistakes, but this is the performance maybe achievable with 1 second less, but not more, so will be a fierce battle in the rear part of the field, unluckily, but trust me, I will try to give everything I can to...
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
possibly arrive in the top 20. So this is the qualification. I keep this result, and I will try to do something better during race day. So as a direct comparison, I would say, where are the split time? Here we are. So the leader, the pole sitter, runs around 47, 45, almost as a constant. Behavior, let's see, sectors, 36, 109, we are 38, 112. So we lose 2 seconds in the first sector, and I'm almost unlined in the second one. So for sure I can maybe improve something here, but nothing really special. On race trim, I think we are stronger, absolutely, but that's it. So I would go to the normal timing, accelerate the qualification, and see you in a couple of seconds for the race. As said, I think I can arrive to 147 maybe. So we'll be here battling for P19, P20 at the end of the race. Sorry. So maybe I can arrive to 147 and battle for a P20 in the race. But at least we will say we have driven also Maserati biturbo, maybe the oldest type of project available here, considering that was introduced in the market in 1981. So really, in 87 already an old dinosaur for what in that period, in the mid-80s, the technology did bring available to the automotive manufacturers. So that's it. Let's save the game, sorry, before we have to do it again. Continue to warm up, and let's accelerate also the warm up. This time BMW, no, again Ford Sierras are absolutely dominant, so I fear that if they will score so much points like they did in the previous first episode, for sure will happen to reduce the number of Ford Sierras in the next one. This was the warm-up. They are returning back to the pit all still. Which cars are not running? The Corollas and the old Commodore. Okay, understood. Fine, so let's save again, bring on board all the fuel needed, finish the race. So we'll be at 30 minutes with 50 liters, maybe 55. Yes, 6 minutes just in case we will consume something more. We can save. Tires shouldn't be a problem, so we can go on track. So let's start the pace lap, the formation lap, and what can I say? Wish me luck. I hope to bring you a good result. Will be anyway not easy today, but let's hope for the best. Maybe with this bug again, maybe I must avoid the warm-up session, I don't know. I've never figured out which is the correct way to avoid the bug of GTR2 of mixing up. I've never figured out what is the correct procedure to avoid to encounter what is the GTR2 bug. of mixing a starting field after a qualification session. Maybe really jump directly from qualifications to race, and that's it. Boom. I don't know if this car is already... Green flag.
Stay safe, man, and good luck. Good luck.
I was saying I'm not sure if this car has been designed in the game to be already with the performances with the electronic fuel injection and 4 valves per cylinders, maybe not. Some crashes here, we can pass the rover, maybe P30. Yes, I like it. I like it very much if they are battling. Hold the tires, Marco, remember. A privateer BMW that we can maybe pass. P22. Pay attention to the clutch. At least we start with 99% reliability. Sneak inside, maybe also Alfa Romeo. Almost lost the rear end. I just fear the moment when everybody will find its own pace, because will happen very soon outside the initial mix of reshuffle of the starting field. We have a 50 horsepower more than the Alfa Romeo, 75.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
I like it, P13. Too long. No. P12. Then will be just defense from the return of the others quicker than us. Don't screw the race. Ratzenberger Pirro in front. Yes, that Roland Ratzenberger. Ciao Roland. No, just lost the car. P11, close to score points. bad line, but I was defending from the BMW of Roland just in case he would have tried to sneak inside. Sometimes AI does this type of moves. Let's pass the Corolla. It is lower, P10. Wide. A bit of understeering starting to appear. While in the lead there is Ivan Capelli and Roberto Ravaglia with the BMW. Good news for Ford. Just in case of balance of presence needed to be adjusted. Now higher Jelinski with the Toyota Supra, a D3 category. Coming a bit slow from the previous corner. Yes, maybe we can take advantage of the internal line, past the privateer Volvo. Touched by the Volvo of the Rose Dumore, I don't remember the name, P8. Now let's catch Tiffy Needle possibly. With the Rover SDI. Very easily we are going to drive all the cars, all the models in this mod in 11 races. 1:47, 48, 49. Still on my pace of the qualification, so not improving dramatically, but the 49 point something did in qualification session, in the quali session, sorry, was made with just 10 liters in the tank. Here we have 44 liters. So I do hope by the end of the race the Maserati biturbo will be quicker and quicker compared to its pace, because now I see that after reaching P8 I'm struggling with tires handling, so the fresh effect of tires has gone, and now we'll be battling with this Grand Tourer old dinosaur, heavier compared to many other models of the same period. Yes, again 49.50 also. Okay, the Mercedes 190, it's here. Slightly touch with my front bumper. Let's try dive bomb. Almost, yes. P7. But still uncatchable, maybe Thief Needle with the Rover SDI. Too powerful, V8. All winning in the previous 3 seasons. Sounds incredible, but we are just 11 seconds from the leader. Now Ludwig Dudon, after half of the race. So at least I'm driving constantly, more or less, apart from this. I don't know what has happened. I felt the steering wheel go away. And now the car is broken. I think. Yes, aerodynamics, 7 seconds of possible repairing I'm not going to do. The race is too short to do it. Was going too easily in some way, but I felt we should ask to Thrustmaster what has happened, because the force applied to the steering wheel has dropped dramatically. The car was not driving where I was giving my input, so Mr. Thrustmaster, tell us what happened. Now the steering wheel is lighter. There isn't anymore the sense of counterforce to be applied. So if it was a simulation of a dirt tire, I can almost get it, but now the steering wheel is lighter than before and does not make sense. Maybe I did break the Thrustmaster engine, who knows? Motor, who knows? Anyway, the car is behaving differently from before. Well, the steering wheel is behaving differently. Let's go on, let's see this live, almost live experiment. I will not cut anything from the video. Half of the race is gone. From a force feedback point of view, the central movements of the steering wheel are like dead in some way. You don't feel the force until you do not start to corner the car, to turn the car. There is a sort of dead zone in between each time you use the steering wheel. If before was heavy, also make tiny corrections while driving like this, now they have disappeared. Has disappeared also the vibration under braking action. If you touch curves, yes, you feel them. Yes, there is definitely a sort of dead zone in between. So you have in this moment to wait the bite, simulating the contact with the asphalt. Capelli Ravaglia back in the lead, ahead of Ludwig Dudon. Let's try to pass anyway the Nissan of Seton Bowers, if the surname is correct. I drive too many mods to remember every driver, sorry. Dive bomb, pushing is racing, yes. P6. We are all one lap down now. Ah no, okay. There was the classification waiting to be updated. We have been capable to go back down to 10 seconds from the leaders. So incredibly enough, we are in the lap of the possible win. 6 minutes to go. Okay, 5 minutes to go almost, so it will be a matter of 2 laps, maybe 3. Oops, this is not fair, Marco, but I've lost the car under braking. And so I couldn't do more than that. Non-orthodox line while braking. It's not that I've improved my performance, because I'm still around 149, I think, at the end of the lap. Maybe 48 now, yes. But really the others dropped the pace they had. I was expecting a return of the quickest car from the back, when I do not make mistakes. It's better. But in reality it didn't happen. So who was in the lead still is in the lead. And I want to see at the end of the classification who will be the previous leaders in Monza, if they will come back here with a good result. 2 minutes to go, so maybe 2 laps, full laps. There's a possible podium in front of us, but with less than 1 lap to go, 2 full laps maybe, 2, yes. It's difficult to say and to catch. Rookie mistake. Yes, dive bomb on the Volvo of Gramberg, Tullius, don't remember the surname. P3 currently, but the race is over now. I was waiting for one more lap. Maybe we were in the condition to...
Race over, man. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. You scored some points. Nice one. Bring it on back.
Another third placement. Another one. After the WEC at Silverstone, and we did a P15 in Sebring, and what else? Do not remember. So the race is over. We finish third with maybe the most unreliable car of that season, and also one of the most uncompetitive car of that season. At a certain point we have also lost the steering wheel. I mean, I felt to not giving any more the input to the car correctly, like if it was broken, and now I will figure out if it is just a firmware issue or a reset issue for the Thrustmaster base, who knows, or maybe it was overheating, I don't know. But above all, despite the mistake, errors here and there, touches and blah blah blah, we succeeded to place the Maserati biturbo in position number 3, just behind Capelli Ravaglia with the BMW M3, the white one you see in front, and again a Ludwig Dudon win with the Ford Sierra, that we celebrate in this way. Good for them. And so we can go to the pit, killed by Capelli Ravaglia, park the car, park the Maserati, celebrate the first ever, and maybe will not happen anymore, podium for the biturbo model. And yes, sorry, allow me to, how to say, to smile, to laugh, because at a certain point I was wondering if the mod was the same or not, but for what I see it is the same, and so we can easily change what is the view and celebrate another podium this year, guys. Won at Daytona, third at Silverstone, third, I was forgetting the sports car 100 minute with the Lotus we arrived P6, P5, don't remember, P7, whatever. So recently a bunch of good results for the iKeysRacing army, and so we can anyway celebrate, as said, the Ludwig Dudon with the Ford Sierra RS 500, 2 wins straight out of 2 races. Capelli Ravaglia BMW second placement as a sort of Bruno Giacomelli impersonification, and Armin Hane, the German driver, on the Maserati biturbo. Never happened for what I know. Gramberg Tulloch, sorry, not Tullius. I was mismatching the Tullius surname with the driver that raced the Jaguar XJR 5 in the IMSA GTP Camel GT Championship. Anyway, Gramberg Tulloch Volvo 240T, Tiff Needle Greenslade Rover SDI, Olivier Grouillard, Luis Perez Sala, 2 ex-Formula 1 drivers with the other BMW M30 of the, which is the name of the team, of the Bigazzi team, okay, we will see it at the end. Seton Bowie with the Nissan Skyline, Cipollini Corradi Volvo 240T, Salem Cudini Mercedes 190e, and Orlandi Castagna BMW 635 CSI. If I'm not wrong, apart from the BMW M30 and the Volvos, top 10 cars with 7 different cars: Sierra, BMW, Maserati, Volvo, Rover, Nissan Skyline, Mercedes, BMW 635 CSI. Orazio Kane will be happy. So if I do not make mistakes, because we did give what was 10, 6 for 3, 2, 1 points. No, was 20, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 points. I don't remember. This is anyway the final classification. I will offline correct myself. Did not finish the two Toyota Corolla Coupe, both, almost at the end of the race, okay. All the others arrived in the lead lap. The Alphas 75, wow, very bad. We did a miracle with the podium at the beginning of this season. Golden Commodore, Ford Mustang, blah blah blah. Let's see the best lap times. So yes, come on guys, they kept, they lost 4 seconds from the qualification to the race. That is, I mean, makes sense, absolutely. Maybe the quickest cars in the qualification were not also the quickest on race stream, but who cares? It's been very full of battles this episode, and yes, so there is a mismatch of lap times. Anyway, we know that there is a 4 seconds gap between qualification and race stream for many drivers. It's not a drama, not a problem at all, but nothing. I just wanted to put a note on this fact. And so what else? Apart from the model information, yes, the others are the name of the teams. Anyway, the Eggenberger Motorsport is winning again. Where is the other Eggenberger? P12. That was the pole sitter, but then the mismatch of maybe running the warm-up session, it is a sort of bug creator for GTR2. I will figure out more or less, but despite reading a lot of the web, sometimes happens, sometimes not. Anyway, no worries, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll follow the classification from a manufacturer point of view updated with the new points scored. And I think that from the episode number 3 in Dijon, in France, we will reduce at least by 1 unit the Ford Sierras, but we will see, because it will depend also a lot on what is the maximum number of slots for cars available. And it will depend on the maximum number of car slots available for each race. So in this moment I don't know what to apply, but for sure the Ford Sierra, having won 2 races in a row, yes, Monza and this one, will absolutely will be reduced by 1 unit. Maybe we will not penalize the Andy Roush team, but one of the 2 Eggenberger Fords for sure, because for what I remember they did the first, second and third in Monza, so it was really something uncatchable. Or first and second and third we were with the Alpha 75. I forgot completely the race, just did 1 month ago. But anyway, thank you very much for watching and bringing a lot of luckiness today. We did something special because, for what I remember, let me check, but the Maserati biturbo never reached any possible good scoring position back then. It was already a 6 years old model. At the beginning of the season, I do remember, was running with 4 carburetors, and then just switched during the season to the full injection. Was not reliable. I mean, we did something really special just because the game dropped 4 seconds of performance of the leaders, but we were anyway close to the normal pace we showed during qualification, so it was a win-win situation in some way. See you very soon in the next appointment, and please remember, please to vote for the polls that are out there with the iKeysRacing community. You can decide if we will go back to IndyCar racing with the IRL 98th season using IndyCar Racing 2. You can decide if with the GT Legends we stay offline or we start to do live streaming. You can decide if we can run the We Are the Champions Formula 1 Challenge seasons, moving from the 10% race length up to the 20-25% race length, so more episodes to conclude a single season instead of running just quickly, considering also that the next seasons will be longer because the number of races will increase, coming to the 60s, the 70s and so on. So you will decide what will be the content here. Remember to follow iKeysRacing channel not only on socials but especially on the community page of YouTube, where I will insert more and more polls so I can in some way customize the channel for our overall tastes, also because the channel is not mine, it's for everybody. I'm just the face behind the camera. So thank you very much for watching also this episode. Best wishes to you all. Dankeschön, merci beaucoup, muchas gracias, arigato, and grazie, and see you very soon. Ciao, bye bye from Marco, from Monza, from iKeysRacing channel. Ciao. Thank you. Best wishes. Ciao.